So this is Danny Flexen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, easy for me to say, of GB Boxing, Matt Holt. Matt, how are you?
I'm great, Danny. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Obviously, we're here to talk about the announcement that GB Boxing will now be managing and training professional boxers under the Podium to Pro banner. I guess a good place to start is to just tell us why this change has come about after so long.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. So you'll be aware that that the landscape of Olympic boxing changed around the time of the Rio Olympic Games, when the International Federation made a decision to allow professional boxers to be eligible to participate at the qualifiers and the games themselves. So it's a kind of a big line in the sand, really, a big change for the sport. And we've seen that develop further. You know, as the sport progressed towards Tokyo, we saw an increased number of pro boxers in the games, and then an increased number of medalists at the Tokyo Games as well. So the broader context of this is that the landscape is changing. So it was incumbent on us, of course, to be thinking about, you know, the potential impact of that on how we operate, thinking about widening the pool of boxers that we can engage with. And then post Tokyo, obviously, as always, we have a big transition of boxers out of the squad and into the professional ranks, looking to move into the next stage of the career. And we started having some conversations with the boxers, and you know, interestingly, it was the boxers that were coming to us saying, "Is there an opportunity for us to continue to be at GB, to be trained by the coaches, and for those coaches to look after us in the professional ranks as well?" And we had a number of those conversations. So that was great. And I think that kind of tells you a lot about the program, a lot about the respect that the boxers have for the coaching team, how happy they are in the environment, the good culture that we've got of GB Boxing as well. So it was at that point that we started to think about this more seriously. And then we went through a process of engaging with our board of directors, talking to UK Sport, getting everybody on board, you know, dotting the I's and crossing the T's of how this might work. And we came to the conclusion that it would be a great thing for the boxers themselves, but most importantly, it'd be a great thing for the program as well. Having boxers, you know, the quality of Lauren Price, Karriss Artingstall on the program to help develop that next generation of boxers coming through.
Now, Rob McCRACKEN, the GB Performance Director, has trained pros for a number of years independently. Is Galal Yafai, is that still part of that agreement? He's not going to be part of this new Podium to Pro scheme?
That's right. Galal's arrangement is a private one with Rob. We know, obviously, since Rob's been with us as performance director, he's always had the opportunity and the flexibility to work with professional boxers. He joined the program with Carl Froch, and then obviously trained Anthony Joshua for the best part of the last two Olympic cycles as well. So that's always an opportunity that Rob has. So in that conversation, Galal wanted to engage in that kind of specific relationship with Rob, whereas the boxers that are part of this new initiative will be trained, you know, across the program with the coaches across the program as well.
How involved will Rob be in that program, given he does have his job as performance director plus his own independent pros?
Yeah. No, it's a good question, and I mean, obviously, what we all know about Rob is that he's, you know, his knowledge of the sport is absolutely second to none. He's got 12 years of experience now working on the Olympic program. He's always worked and operated, you know, very, very successfully in the professional game as well. So I think it's very natural that Rob will kind of have you know, a strong involvement in this, in looking after the boxers' interest, involved in the kind of the day-to-day kind of training of their activity as well. So we do expect Rob to play kind of an important role in the rollout of what we're doing.
Without getting into kind of specific figures, there's kind of a traditional amount that trainers and managers take from a boxer's purse in the professional side of the sport. Does Podium to Pro, is that pretty competitive with that, or pretty in line with that?
Yeah, well, obviously, without divulging the kind of the specific nature of the arrangements that we have with the boxers, we believe it'll be an arrangement that is in everybody's best interests. We believe that the boxers will get great value for money from GB Boxing, you know, kind of in line with the you know, the high quality of coaching and provision that they'll receive, but equally, you know, it'll be good for GB Boxing as well. You know, if we're working on the basis of taking a percentage of the boxer's purse from the professional bouts, that'll help support the increased activity that we'll be doing in order to deliver that program for the boxers. But it also provides the opportunity for co-funding to come back into the program to support the wider world-class program as well. So it's really a win-win situation from a financial point of view as we see it.
And did anyone from your group speak to the British Boxing Board of Control before finalising the decision, and have they been receptive to it?
Well, obviously the coaches will now be operating in the professional sphere as well. So those conversations are obviously taking place. The trainers are going through the process of getting the licenses as well. And we know across the country there's lots of coaches that work both across across amateur and Olympic style boxing and in the pros as well. So in that respect, it's not a very significant departure.
But have there been any discussions with the board? I'm just keen to know what their kind of attitude towards it was, if they've welcomed it.
Yeah, so Rob obviously is engaged with the board on a regular basis.
And talking of Rob, will he, at least to start with, be the kind of manager of record with the board? Because I think you have to have another license for 3 years before you can have a manager's license. If guys like Lee Pullen and so on, great coaches, are only just applying for their trainers' licenses, that'll obviously be a longer time period.
Yes, that's right. The management function will be fulfilled by Rob.
How excited are you just generally about this new direction? I know you've talked about the greater good and the money flowing back into the world-class program, but just in terms of getting into professional boxing, it's kind of an alien area, not to Rob, obviously, but to you guys as a whole. How excited are you about the new venture?
Yeah, we're really excited. And, you know, the great thing for us, and this has been true of the boxers that have been on the program previously, is that we always take a great interest in how they go and perform, you know, kind of when they move into professional boxing. Just, you know, that was absolutely the same with, you know, the likes of Anthony Joshua, with Nicky Adams, with all the different boxers that have achieved well as part of our program. So in that respect, it doesn't change. You know, we see the boxers going into the professional ranks, and we've got, you know, we take a great interest in, you know, hopefully the work that we've done with them has provided them with the grounding, the kind of the technique, and the quality coaching that allowed them to be a success in the professionals as well. But you're right, of course, if we're taking an active role in the delivery of their coaching, cornering them at the professional bouts, it adds a new dimension to it. So yeah, I think kind of across the coaching staff, across the team, we're really excited to see how it goes.
And just the last one, because I know we're limited for time. What about the transition in terms of style? Because for years, everyone who's on your coaching staff has been working with these boxers towards world championships, Olympics, specific tournament boxing style. And although the codes have come a bit closer together, they are still markedly different. How will that adapt from coaching one style to adapting to the pros?
Yeah, no, and it's a great question, Danny. And you know, we're obviously in the very fortunate position of having Robert McCracken as our performance director, and somebody who is able to broach those two worlds and to have a, you know, have a really clear, kind of detailed understanding of what it takes to be an Olympic gold medalist, but equally what it takes to be a professional world champion. So obviously this is kind of very much Rob's department rather than mine, but we're obviously confident that we've got the expertise and know-how specifically kind of, you know, from Rob himself in order to be able to navigate that effectively.
Excellent. Well, really appreciate your time. And yeah, I look forward to seeing where it goes.
Pleasure. Thanks very much for your time as well, Danny.
Cheers.